Hi, my name is Dr. Derek Glencoe with Peak Chiropractic of North Plains, Oregon. I want to talk to you today about some bad habits that I usually have to talk to my patients about whenever they start treatment with me, because it's some of the things that will sometimes keep them from getting better and maybe even sometimes the cause that has brought them to the point of pain. The first thing I want to talk to you about today is bringing your head to your work or whatever you are doing when you're doing it. Now, this biggest problem comes through usually when you're sitting at the computer, and instead of you having the computer come to you or bringing your chair to the computer and sitting closer to the computer, you actually end up unconsciously most of the time bringing the head out and toward the computer. Or say that you're reading and you're looking for something, we don't bring the book up to our face, we bring our head down into the book. That usually causes a lot of strain onto the neck, and it's one of the first things that I want to make sure that people will start to work on breaking the habit for, because of how much trouble it causes. The next thing that I want to talk to you about has to do with when you're at the computer and when you're sitting in general, and that's sitting with your legs crossed. Now, sometimes people do it with both legs, sometimes people do it with one leg. The problem is that it creates an imbalance and puts a lot of strain on the hips. You can sit for long periods, usually with the legs crossed, and you'll find that you'll have one side is easier than the other. You'll find these imbalances will sometimes develop certain curves into the spine or make you strain the muscles into a certain direction, and that builds up and causes some vulnerabilities for people at times, and that's how you can get hurt. The next thing that I'd like to talk about kind of goes with the sitting unbalanced, and that's having your wallet in your back pocket. If you have the wallet in your back pocket, you'll just sit on it, and that kind of shifts you off to the side. And I've had it be a problem for some people where they'll sit with it for so long it'll become a lifetime habit, and they end up having a lot of back pain and troubles. And it's something that you can see over the years causing some significant strain on the low back. So I always recommend that you stop the habit early so that it doesn't have a long enough time to actually build into a big enough problem. The next thing that I want to talk about is when you are working at the computer, is usually where I'll notice it, or if you're sitting at school, desk work, it's tucking your feet underneath your chair. It causes a lot of trouble with the knees, especially when you do it for a long period of time. It starts to cause the strain on them. Long periods of bending the knees is never good. It ends up causing a lot of stress on the knees. So I always recommend don't tuck your feet underneath your chair. Try and keep them out in front of you. It's easier on the knees. The next thing that I want to talk about kind of goes along with the knee problem that I usually see a lot of people have. It goes with driving. When you're driving for a long period of time, many people will get the knee pain that kind of goes on the outside of the knee that kind of goes toward the middle of the car, and I got to stretch out my knee, got to move it around a little bit because of the stress and the pain that's starting to happen. You put on cruise control. Well, a lot of the time what ends up happening and why it starts in the first place is, one, it's the bending the knee for a long period, but it's also the fact that many people drive with the foot relaxed and tilting out. So it leans out toward the middle of the car, and that puts a higher amount of strain onto the outside part of the knee. So what you want to try and do is try and keep the foot balanced and centered to the middle. You'll notice that the strain will come off the knee a bit, but if you can't get the knee completely straight when you're driving, it's still going to cause a little bit of trouble. So make sure you get up and about, take those breaks when you're driving. It'll make it a lot easier for those long road trips. These are my 5 bad posture habits I'd like to talk to you guys about, and I talk to my patients about a lot of the times. My name is Dr. Derek Glencoe with Peak Chiropractic of North Plains, Oregon. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks.